Yeah. This is your boy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. You know the vibes, you know the energy. I'm so grateful to you guys for being here. As always, the show was nothing without the beautiful people. The show cannot move forward without the beautiful people, and I'm grateful to you guys for always locking in on the content. I understand you guys have a ton of options. You guys have so many dope people doing dope things in this YouTube space. I get it, man. You got your go-to people. I feel that. I got my go-to people too. But make sure you guys lock in on the show. And those of you who are locking on the show, man, like I said, you got a ton of options and you're still here. You're still here. You still choose to kick it with me despite your options. That's flawed. It's hard to get people to buy one thing, let alone have hundreds of people, thousands of people tuning into your content, right? It's humbling. So I'm grateful to be here with you guys. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to talk football, Philadelphia Eagles football at that. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are engaged in the content. Super grateful to you guys. Now, smash the like button, of course. Make sure you are subscribed. Stay engaged. Comment below. Make yourself known. Let me know who I'm talking to. But I do have some things that I want to get to with you guys. I have some things that are on the docket. The Packers game is pretty much behind us. We pretty much unpacked that game as many ways as we possibly could have. And now we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons on the horizon, right? So that's going to be a game that's going to be really interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles make their return to Lincoln Financial Field after flying over 9 hours to Brazil. Right? And quite frankly, that week 1 win was a big win for the Eagles. I would say it was a big deal. It might be a big deal. Let me see something here. I'm hearing that people are getting issues. Let me see something. Hold on. I'm not saying anything. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me see what we're working with here. Okay, says here, Republic. Okay, I'm not seeing any issues on this side. I'm not seeing any issues on my side. Are you guys having any issues on your side? Because I'm not seeing any chats coming in, which is strange at this point in the show. I'm not seeing any chats coming in. But we're gonna do our best to try to go forward with the show, you guys. Yeah, I'm not seeing any chats at all. But like I said, we're gonna do our best to try to go forward with the show. So again, I really do appreciate you guys for being here. So like I was saying, that week 1 game against the Green Bay Packers was, how do you say, it had its ups, had its downs, but it definitely ended on a high note, right? And we know the game started off pretty much as a struggle for the Philadelphia Eagles on offense, that is. The defense did the best they could. But regardless, they found a way to win the game. The offense came alive in the second and third quarter, and they pretty much never looked back since. And this was a big game for the Philadelphia Eagles. I understand it was week 1, but the game had value. The game has value because it's in conference. You beat an NFC opponent. On top of that, this NFC opponent is likely a team that you may see on the road to a Super Bowl championship. This is a team you may face. This is a team you may see. And likely they'll be better at that point in the season than they were in week 1. Granted, their quarterback is going through whatever injury he has to go through. But regardless, I think Green Bay is going to be there at some point in the end. Maybe they come in as a wild card team because, Jordan Love is going to miss about 3 to 6 weeks. Maybe they come in as a wild card team. And I would imagine Green Bay is not going to push him back too far or try to rush him back. So I think what we're looking at here is we're looking at a situation where Green Bay definitely is probably going to be a wild card team. They can still win their division. The Lions, as of right now, are ahead. They're tied with the Bears. I think the Bears are going to be a little bit better. Obviously, Caleb is going through his rookie situation, but I think the Bears are going to be better. I think Detroit is going to be good. Green Bay is going to be good. Minnesota already has a win. That division is going to be more interesting than we thought. But regardless, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Green Bay Packers. They likely will see them at some point later down the line. So I say all that to say that win had value. That win had tremendous value for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you got the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons. And look, I want to try my hardest to be as fair as possible when talking about the Atlanta Falcons. But the Atlanta Falcons are coming off of an ugly loss to the Justin Fields led Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Russell Wilson was supposed to be the starter. Russell Wilson's been dealing with a calf injury, but Justin Fields was the starter, and he led the Pittsburgh Steelers to an 18-10 victory over the Atlanta Falcons on the Atlanta Falcons home turf. So I say that to say the Atlanta Falcons struggled. They lost to the kicker of the Steelers. The kicker. The Steelers couldn't score a touchdown, but somehow, some way, the Falcons lost 18-10. And again, I openly admit that the Eagles stumbled early in week 1. And Jalen Hurts has things he has to clean up. Do not get me wrong. He has things he has to clean up, and we're going to discuss that. We're going to break that down later on in the show. But even through the struggle early on, even through stumbling in the first quarter, the Eagles turned the tide and ended up going up to win the game 34-29. They put up 34 points. They put up 34 points by accident. And they were playing great red zone defense. So you had some things to hang your hat on. When it comes to the Falcons, granted, the Falcons defense, they did not give up a single touchdown in that game. That Falcons defense did not give up a single touchdown to the Steelers. Granted, the Steelers offense is very limited right now. They only gave up 18 points, and they didn't give up a single touchdown. But that Falcons offense couldn't carry their weight, not one bit. And they struggled to put up 10 points. And I watched that game from beginning to end because we're going to play the Steelers at one point. We're going to play the Falcons this week. I wanted to see how those teams performed. And the Falcons just looked anemic. There were moments where you thought they could move the ball, but then Kirk Cousins just looked limited. I didn't like his decision-making. And then as far as the Steelers go, Justin Fields obviously has the dual threat factor to his game, but I mean, he's an inconsistent passer. He processes what he sees very slowly. Who knows who the Steelers will be when we meet him later down the line? But the Falcons, new quarterback Kirk Cousins, he went 16 for 26, 115 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, took 2 sacks, and he had a 59.0 passer rating. And again, I'm not just relying on the stats when I talk about this. And I'm glad you guys are back. I'm glad the chat is working. Thank you guys so much for being patient with that. I don't know what was going on. I guess YouTube was going through their own technical difficulty, but I'm glad the chat is working just fine. And I'm glad you guys are here. Make sure you smash that like button on the way in, and make sure you guys smash that like button on the way out. You're locked in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Appreciate you for being here. But Kirk Cousins, 16 for 26, 115, on 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, took 2 sacks with a 59.0 passer rating. He was inefficient and he was ineffective. And if you ask me, he still don't look healthy, or he don't look fully comfortable in the pocket. We all know Kirk Cousins is coming off of a season-ending Achilles injury. He ended up signing a 4-year contract with the Atlanta Falcons for $180 million, $100 million guaranteed. They did draft Michael Penix in the first round. I haven't really been a fan of Atlanta's off-season decisions as it pertains to the quarterback position. I like what they've done defensively. I think the Atlanta defense is going to be good. And I'm glad we're catching them when we're catching them. But I think the Atlanta defense is going to be good. The Atlanta Falcons offense, though, I don't know how I feel about Kirk Cousins today. He looked very limited. He looked like his feet were stuck in the ground. He looked immobile. I understand Kirk Cousins has never been a quarterback to move around much. I get that. But he just looked like he couldn't move at all. They barely rolled him out. Kirk Cousins loves that bootleg play action. He loves that. But I watched that game, and Kirk Cousins really couldn't move a muscle. Ball placement was terrible. His internal clock was off. It just seemed like the Steelers were able to tee off. Now, granted, that Steelers defense is legitimate. That Steelers defense is legitimate. I'm not trying to minimize the opponent they went against. That Steelers defense is legitimate, right? But that Steelers offense is also pretty whack. So you ask yourself, how can I really gauge Atlanta, right? Who are the Atlanta Falcons? And I actually had Atlanta being one of the better teams this year. I did. I thought Atlanta, and again, it's only week one. I want to make that very, 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 very clear. It's only week one. And who they are or who they were on Sunday, they may be a totally different team. Completely different. I think Atlanta is a talented team. I think they have a talented roster. I think they're talented on offense. They're talented on defense. They got talent sprinkled all over the place. But when I just look at Kirk Cousins, I don't see a quarterback who's fully back. I just don't. And Kirk Cousins could put numbers up on you. He can. You may beat Kirk Cousins, but he'll put numbers up on you, and he can beat you. And I'm going to get to your super chats, guys. Thank you so much for donating to the channel. It means a lot to me. I'm going to get to those in a second. I just want to get through some of these notes here. Yeah, so Kirk Cousins, again, 16 for 26, 115 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, took 2 sacks with the 59.0 passer rating. His interceptions were bad. I mean, Jalen Hurts' interceptions were bad too, but his were bad. And I have higher hopes for Jalen Hurts at this point versus Kirk Cousins, who's coming off of an Achilles injury. The Eagles are going to be back home. The Eagles are going to be in Lincoln Financial Field. They're not gonna have to worry about slippery grass. I think this is a game that the Philadelphia Eagles defense can definitely take that next step, build more confidence. They did some things that we were excited about in that game against Green Bay. And I think having a quarterback like Kirk Cousins, you should be able to get to this guy. But I also expect the Atlanta Falcons to make adjustments. Again, week one, you ain't got much film to work with, but that game, that gave them a lot of stuff to talk about in the film room. So likely expect an entirely different game plan, expect an entirely different approach because of how bad it was. They're probably going to go back to Kirk Cousins' Minnesota Vikings film and really try to utilize what he does well. Remember, Atlanta has a new head coach, new OC, new DC, new quarterbacks, new everything. So they're still working some things out here. But this is a matchup that I think the Philadelphia Eagles ultimately will be in full control of. And then another thing, too. Well, you know what? Before I mention that, let me get to some of your comments real quick. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you guys again for supporting the show. Shizzo Flex with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says the Hertz careless turnovers need to stop. Take the easy plays. You never accept anything in the win that you wouldn't accept in the loss, point blank. I'm so glad you said that because we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on. We're going to talk a lot more about that later on. Trust and believe that, Shizzo Flex. Trust and believe. Davon Tyree with the $1.99 super chat. He says, Saquon, NFC Player of the Week, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Saquon Barkley being named NFC Offensive Player of the Week. That's dope. That's fly. Proud of him. Great first day, great first game to show the league what you're going to be about in this Philadelphia Eagles offense. It was a great outing by him, by every stretch of the imagination. He was the best player in football on offense in week 1. I can't think of a player who played better than him in week 1. I can't think of one. I know Rashid, right? I know what's my man name? Not Rashid Rice. Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed came pretty close. He had the 70+ yard touchdown, had the 33-yard run. But Saquon had 3 touchdowns to his 2, even though Jaden Reed had about 20 more yards. So I'm sure if Jaden Reed would have had 3 touchdowns, he probably would have been named Offensive Player of the Week because of what he did, right? 2 of the best performers on offense in the NFC was in that Packers Green Bay game when it comes to Saquon and Jaden Reed for sure. Maybe you consider Baker Mayfield. He had a pretty good game against the Commanders. But the opponent, definitely matters as well. So yeah, man, shout out to Saquon. Shout out to Saquon Barkley, man. The first of many accolades as a Philadelphia Eagle. Some people even have Saquon Barkley as a dark horse for Offensive Player of the Year. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. Infamous 2K says Michael Penix will start by week 7. I don't know, man. They have a lot of money tied up in Kirk Cousins, like a lot. It'd be different if it was like a 2-year deal or even a 3-year deal. They got 3 years worth of, if they paying him $180 million over 4 years, what is that? That's basically $45 million a year. So they basically have 2 seasons worth of money tied up with him, a season and some change. They can get out of that contract after year 2. Basically half of it is guaranteed. But I don't know if Michael Penix will be starting by week 7. I really don't think so. They just have too much money tied up into Kirk Cousins. Michael Penix is not seeing the field this year. All right, let's see here. So yeah, some other things that stood out to me about the Atlanta Falcons in that week 1 game against the Steelers wasn't just Kirk Cousins' ineffectiveness. What also stood out to me was how much of a non-factor Drake London was and how Kyle Pitts had limited impact on the game. Look, again, Kirk Cousins, he looked stiff. Drake London was a non-factor. Kyle Pitts, he caught all 3 of his targets and he got 1 touchdown out of the deal, but he just wasn't a factor either. Only had 26 yards. And then Bijan Robinson, he was the only bright spot on the offense, if we're being honest. He had 111 total yards from scrimmage on 23 touches. Although he only averaged 3.8 yards per carry on his runs, and his longest run of the day was 13 yards. I mean, Bijan Robinson didn't find the end zone. The Falcons' offense just looked limited. They looked out of sorts. They lacked chemistry. Like it just looked like a mess. But regardless, it's week 1. Their defense looked good though. And just based off of what I've been seeing over the games I've saw, it seems like offenses are a little behind the defenses, but I think that's pretty normal. Offense is all about timing. Defense, you can spend a lot of your time going downhill. So yeah, the Atlanta Falcons defense, they look good. I think that's something that the Eagles got to pay attention to, right? You hold the Steelers to 18 points on all field goal attempts. In the Steelers offense, they struggled to put up points to begin with. And they were led by a boom or bust Justin Fields. You never know what you're going to get from Justin Fields on any given Sunday at this point. We don't know what he is. We don't really know the limitations to his game per se. But on that Falcons defense, you gotta respect the names they got over there. Like I said, they got talent sprinkled all over the place. They got in the secondary, very talented. Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, AJ Terrell, right? And then in that front seven, they're led by Matthew Judon and Grady Jarrett. So they're talented on the defense side of the ball. They've spent a lot of money building that defense. So this can't be a game where Jalen Hurts is once again lackadaisical with the football. Because I expect, like I said, that was week 1. We only can go off what we've seen, and the offense may have their own concerns, but it's only week 1. I expect the Falcons to be much better this week. I expect them to do a lot of soul searching about how that offense is going to look. I fully expect them to do whatever they can to put Kirk Cousins in comfortable situations so he can deliver the ball. But I do believe Kirk Cousins can be had coming off of that Achilles injury. See, it goes beyond just being recovered physically. He has to recover mentally. That was one of the most serious injuries he's ever had. That was some of the most time he's ever lost. Some of the most time he's been away from the game. Now he's in a new team, a new city, new offense, new coaches. On top of that, he has to restore his confidence in not just his body, but restore his confidence in his offensive line. New guys in front of him blocking. New guys. Kirk Cousins has to reattain that confidence in his body again. To trust the ground that he's standing on, planting his foot, right? You know, when you tear that ACL or when you rupture an Achilles, when you see that defender get a little too close to your legs, it throws you off a little bit. You may not put as much oomph in those throws. You may not be able to put enough oomph in those throws. Sir Kirk Cousins, we'll see who he is this coming Monday night. We'll see. The Eagles have 10 days off from the game, and I believe the Falcons are going to have 8 days off from their game. I just think this is a game the Philadelphia Eagles can definitely win, but you don't want to be careless with the ball. The Eagles cannot go into this game and take the Falcons lightly, even though I think the Falcons can be had. Even though I believe that, you can't take them lightly. Let me get to this super chat real quick. My man Infamous 2K with the $4.99 super chat. He says, excuses. ATL has a lot on defense, but Hertz has a lot on offense. It's a fair fight. Jalen doesn't get the excuse of playing a good defense. What are you talking about? I'm not sure who's making excuses. Maybe you're not talking to me per se, but I didn't think I was making excuses. I think I was just acknowledging who the opponent was. That's all. Like if we were playing the Commanders, I would say, hey, look, they got Bobby Wagner on their side. They got Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. You know, you got to watch those guys. You know, not really worried about Emmanuel Forbes. Not worried about him. But all those other guys, that front seven, you got to watch that front seven for sure. But the secondary, chef's kiss. So I'm gonna always be honest. I'm gonna always keep it real. You feel what I'm saying? I thought I was just acknowledging that they have talent on that side of the ball. You know, just how I acknowledged that the Packers, they had Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark, Jair Alexander, Xavier McKinney, right? Quay Walker. They got talent on that side of the ball. They just got to put it together. I think that's been the problem for Green Bay. They can't make the pieces fit. Or they can't get the most out of the pieces. See, individually, the Packers' pieces are very good, but the sum of their parts, not good at all. Not good. And the Atlanta Falcons, again, only gave up 18 points, all field goals. That red zone defense was legitimate. Thank you again, Infamous, for the super chat, my friend. Really do appreciate you, brother. Really appreciate you. So, yeah, the Falcons, they got talent. Don't get it twisted on both sides of the ball. Offensive line is pretty decent, pretty solid. They got talent. They brought in, who was the guy they signed? Darnell Mooney. They signed Mooney, right, from the Bears. They got Bijan Robinson. You drafted Drake London and Kyle Pitts. You feel what I'm saying? You got Ray McLeod. For some reason, that offense couldn't get it going. Couldn't get it going, not one bit. Make sure you guys smash that like button. We got 42 likes, 95 people, 96 people watching the live stream. Let's try to get those numbers up, y'all. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure you stay locked in on the show. Where was I? Yes, the Atlanta Falcons. You can't take them lightly, right? Because there's something about that team. Again, I had the Atlanta Falcons actually being a good team this year. I have them winning the NFC South. I still do. I don't want to move off of that so soon. I understand Baker Mayfield had the game he had, and Derek Carr and the Saints had the game they had, but I still got the Atlanta Falcons winning that division. I feel like they're just the more talented team in their division. But Atlanta seems like a team that can put up 10 points one week and then drop 30 the following week. Tell me if I'm off in that assessment. Because again, Kirk Cousins, as limited as I've explained him to be, and how questionable I think he is coming off that injury, and based off what I saw, Kirk Cousins can still put some numbers up. He still knows how to play quarterback. He's not mobile. He's even less mobile now. But the Falcons give me that kind of team. They can drop 10 or 13 points one week, and then the following week they get you for 27. They get you for 30 or 33 or something like that. That seems like where they are right now. I think the Atlanta Falcons have to learn how to be consistent. And also, they got to learn how to play with a quarterback. My man Infamous, once again, with the super chat. Thank you, Infamous. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see what you got to say. He said, and he quotes, I think he's quoting me here. He said they spent a lot of money building that defense, so this can't be a game where Jalen Hurts is lackadaisical with the football. That's the pre-excuse for Hurts. I'm not making. Come on, man. Infamous. You lucky you paid for this. You lucky you paid for this, because I would have ignored the hell out of this. I'm not making excuses. That's the facts. What are we talking about here? Since when did mentioning facts mean that you were trying to give somebody an out? I think Jalen Hurts is going to have. First of all, I didn't even get all the way through my notes yet to really break down my perspective on Jalen Hurts, but I'll placate you to this. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a way cleaner game on Monday night. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a significantly cleaner game. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to go out there and try to overdo it. I think Jalen Hurts is going to take what they give him, allow his playmakers to make the plays. I think that game one, I think week one and how it went and how quickly things kind of got out of hand a little bit. I think he realized, yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. That was Jalen Hurts really put his team in a compromising situation. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself because I got stuff that I want to get into. But overall, I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a cleaner game. That's just my opinion, though. This is my opinion. All right, let's see. And thank you again, Infamous, with the $9.99 super chat, brother. I really do appreciate you. Let's see where we at. Okay. Let's read some of these well, hold on. Let me get through this real quick. So, yeah, Atlanta Falcons, entirely new coaching staff, new quarterback, new culture shift. It may take the Atlanta Falcons some time to settle into their season. But that's why I believe this is a good matchup for the Eagles right now. The Eagles are likely catching the Falcons at the right time before the Falcons realize how good they actually can be. Because the Falcons can actually be good. They can. But I think the Eagles are catching them at the right time before they actually know how good they can be. Same thing with the Green Bay Packers. Well, Green Bay, no, they know how good they can be. They took it to the playoffs last year. But they still did what they did. Just that Green Bay matchup was a perfect tune-up, a perfect matchup to get the Eagles season started, find out where you are, test your mettle. I think the Atlanta Falcons game is another well-timed game. Another well-timed game. You're going up against a talented secondary. You're going up against another team that has pieces that can catch you slipping. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. Those guys are talented. Those guys are very talented. Raymond McLeod can get open, things like that. So this is going to be a game that I think the Philadelphia Eagles ultimately will win. I think this is going to be a game where they control it for the most part. But again, you just don't want to be careless with guys like Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. Those guys are ball hawks. They have a ton of experience. They know exactly what to do. There's no surprises you can throw at those guys. It's just that simple. All right, let me get to your comments here. We have over 100 people in the live stream. Thank y'all so much. Make sure you smash the like button. Let's see where we at with the likes. Over 100 people in here, and we only got 45 likes. Come on, y'all. Something not adding up, man. We got over 100 people in here, and we only got 44 likes. All right, let me get to some of your comments. My man James McFadden says, Tone, I actually disagree. I don't think the Falcons can score. Cousins effectively run the offense they want to run. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're basically saying because of Kirk Cousins, you don't think they can effectively score and they can't effectively run the offense they want to run. You may be onto something because of his limitations. You may be onto something, but it's early. It was only week 1. I can't judge the Falcons right now. I can't indict them right now. But I can go off of just how Kirk Cousins looked, just physically, right? And maybe that's what you're doing too, James. Maybe you're doing the same thing. And maybe that's how you came to this conclusion. Kirk Cousins just looks flat-footed, stuck in the grass. He barely can move. He looks like he's afraid to get touched still. Not really following through his throws. Yeah. Maybe you're seeing what I'm seeing. The physical limitations of Kirk Cousins. He just doesn't have. Again, it's week 1. He has to settle in. But just he didn't look right to me. He just didn't look right. And again, I watched that game from beginning to end. He just didn't look right to me. Kenny McDaniel says, Pittsburgh, Jalen feels the pressure to feed all the wolves. That's what we saw Friday night. He'll settle down nicely. Yeah. I think he'll settle down too. When you got all those weapons and you know how talented they are, you kind of think they can do anything, and it's just not smart football to take advantage of that. Davon Tyree says Zach Bond going to be headhunting for Kirk. Oh man, that's funny. Sports with the Comma says the Falcons played a great defense last week. You have to take that into account. I did. That Steelers defense is legitimate for sure. But that Falcons offensive line is one of the better offensive lines. They have talent on offense. I expected more than 10 points, comma. And I'm pretty sure you expected more than 10 points too. They had opportunities. They were it goes beyond just playing a great defense. They were inept. They were anemic. They couldn't do anything. The Steelers beat them with field goals. So yeah, I know the Steelers have a great defense, right? I get that part. I get that. But Kirk Cousins just didn't look right to me, brother. Bo 1990 says we need Jordan Davis and the rest of the line to show up. Doesn't take much for Cousins to hand it to Bijan. Yeah, here's the thing, right? With if Bijan is their only weapon, it's going to be pretty easy to defend them. If Bijan is their end all be all, it's going to be pretty easy to defend them because it got to a point where the Steelers were just keying in on Bijan Robinson, and he was able to do what he could, but for the most part, they forced Kirk Cousins and everybody else to beat him. Jerome Anthony says Hertz can make every throw. Wake up, hater. Davon Tyree says our offense will run it up. Jalen going to adjust, especially that throw in the end zone when AJ slipped. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I still wouldn't have threw that ball though. I understand AJ slipped. I understand what Jalen Hurts thought he saw, but I'm not making that throw. If anything, you should have stayed in the pocket and just drove it down the field. If you saw the space in the middle of the field like that, and I saw the all 22, it was a lot of space. I understand why he threw it, but there was no reason for you to roll out right. You wasted time rolling out to your right. You should have just delivered the pill. Infamous says, remember when Eagles fans were hype about Hertz not throwing interceptions, but bro threw 2 in week 1? That's the thing I hate about the whole off-season stat keeping stuff, because it's pointless. Why do it? You know, I know real people don't really care about that stuff. Like, I know real fans, real Eagles fans don't really care about that stuff. But when you see it, you're like, oh, okay, he had a good day. You have no choice but to acknowledge it. But I mean, I always knew to take it with a grain of salt. Like, real NFL games, you can't script stuff. Thank you guys for being here too. We got over 100 people in here. Make sure you guys smash that like button on the way in. Make sure you smash it on the way out. The like button is currency in this YouTube space. The lifeblood. The shows don't eat without the like button. Make sure you guys smash that. It means a lot. Goes a long way. Let's see. Lons, what's going on, sir? He says Kirk's going to see ghosts in the afterlife. Yo. Facts, man. Kirk he just looked flat-footed. He may be better this week, though. You never know. New team, new offense, new offensive line, new coaches. We'll see. But I think the Eagles got this game. Kevin Watkins says, I think we're going to play a lot of angry ball this year. As a team, we have a lot to prove. They're hearing the talk, so I think we're trying to buy the NFL, put the NFL on notice that we are the best team in the NFL. Yeah, the Eagles are going to have to prove it at the end of the day. They got to prove it, right? You can hear what you want, you can say what you want, but you gotta prove it. You gotta prove it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Birds fan says Jacob is king still. Well, he says still love you, Tone. Anyway, let's see where we are. Kama says, are you concerned about Hertz at all moving forward, decision making wise? No, I'm not. Last season was last season. I want to leave that where it was. I won't be concerned until, like, if he's making the same mistake on Monday and in week 3, week 4, like if he's turning the ball over like that, then I got concerns for real. I'll be honest. If it happens again, if he has another game like that, because look, here's the thing. Interceptions happen. Defenses make plays. I can't sit here and just say if he throws another interception, then I'm off the Jalen Hurts train. I'm not saying that. But if he throws the interceptions or the type of interceptions he threw against the Packers, the ones where he's just throwing the ball, hoping something good happens, throwing across his body, throwing in triple coverage, if I'm seeing those type of interceptions, then I got a problem. And I'm talking about on Monday. If I see those same type of decisions being made on Monday night, I got a problem. And I got concerns. I'm saying that, I'm putting that on wax right now. Because interceptions happen. Defenses make plays. They get paid too, right? I can't get mad at a defensive player just making a good play, a good read, right? But when it comes to just throwing it in triple coverage, throwing it across your body, no. I'm not jacking that. I'm not rolling with that. I'm gonna have some real harsh criticisms for Jalen Hurts if he in that game against the Falcons with multiple interceptions, throwing in double coverage, things of that nature. Like you can't make those kind of mistakes. And on top of that, listen, he could have threw more. He almost threw a pick 6 in that Packers game. Almost lost the game. So he got to tighten up. Like my man Green Man Miller said, he got to tighten up. Got to tighten up. Got to tighten up. Keisha White says, maybe not due to it being Monday Night Football. Cousins sucks during prime time. Yeah, he does. He's not a good primetime quarterback at all. Louis says, Tone, who are the players on defense you are focusing on this week? For me, I want to know what we got on edge. Kirk looking like a statue out there. I'm glad you said that. And that does take me to another topic that I do have in store for you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But I feel you on that. I want to see if the defense looks better because again, that Brazil grass was hard was very hard to get traction on. It was really hard for the Eagles defense to get traction on that grass in Brazil. So I'm curious to see if the defense plays better on home grass. I'm curious to see what the edge rushers are really like. Kizzy from Bama says, take out Maddox and put Cooper there, and his defense is ruthless. Yeah, I think Cooper DeJean is going to end up starting at some point. I'm just not sure if I'm not sure if we're there yet. Not sure if we're there yet. Jerome Anthony says, I can't wait for Monday Night Football. Same here, big dog. I can't wait. Can't wait. Brian Stetcher says Kirk Cousins struggles in primetime games. You're absolutely right. Davon Tyree says Zach Bond is definitely going to blitz Kirk Cousins. Absolutely. All right. So let's see. Where are we? All right. Now I want to get to my next topic here. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are engaged in the content. We got over 110 people in here. We got about 114 people locked in. We only got 65 likes. Let's get that like number up. I appreciate you guys. I know you got a ton of options out there, and you're still here with me this afternoon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means a lot to me. All right, let's see what else we got. So I want to talk a little bit more about Jalen Hurts. We kind of broached it a little bit. I want to try to put a button on the whole Jalen Hurts topic. You know, at times, let me start it like this. Jalen Hurts doesn't need or doesn't have to overthink his situation with the Philadelphia Eagles. He doesn't have to overthink it. He doesn't have to do the most. He doesn't have to be Superman. He ain't got to be Batman. He ain't got to do none of that. Listen, we don't need Jalen Hurts to be Cyclops. We don't need him to be Wolverine. We don't need Jalen Hurts to be Storm or Jean Grey. We don't even need Jalen Hurts to be Jubilee or Beast. We need Jalen Hurts to be Professor X. Be Professor X. We need you to just sit back and let your X-Men take care of the heavy lifting. All you got to do is play point guard, brother. You ain't got to overthink this situation with the Eagles. You got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley. You don't need to be Cyclops. We don't need you to be Wolverine, diving in head first. We need you to be Professor X. We need you to push all the buttons. We need you to just hang out in the Black Jet, in the Black Hawk. We need you to hang out in the Black Hawk and call the plays. You know what I mean? Hey, go over here, go over here. Hey, Wolverine, we need you over here. Hey, Jean Grey, we need you over here. Hey, Cyclops, go help Jubilee. We need you to play point guard. We need you to oversee this thing. We need you to make the best possible decisions because your decisions matter. You ever notice that Cyclops, Wolverine, all them, they don't make decisions. Professor X makes the decisions. Professor X points. Professor Xavier points and Cyclops shoots. You feel what I'm saying? When Professor Xavier say get him, Wolverine says I got him. So Hertz, you ain't gotta be the guy that you was trying to be on Friday night. You ain't got to be the guy that's got to win it all in one throw. Throwing in triple coverage, throwing across your body. Sometimes it's okay to live and fight another day. Because across the hall, the X-Men got to deal with the Brotherhood. Magneto and his boys, Juggernaut, Mystique. You feel what I'm saying? They got some heavy hitters on that side. So you don't want to be careless and put your X-Men in compromising situations. Professor Xavier can't afford to be reckless with his decisions because now Wolverine is going to get caught lacking by Sabretooth. Cyclops is going to get caught lacking by Juggernaut. And now Jalen Hurts, Professor X, you're going to get caught lacking by Magneto. So again, you got all these weapons. You don't got to do that. You're good. You're good. You got it out your system. Listen, I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a clean game on Monday night. I really do. And again, you got Jesse Bates out there, Justin Simmons, AJ Terrell. You don't want to be stupid. You don't want to just throw the ball up and just think you don't want to do that. It's not complimentary football. Because when Jalen Hurts is reckless with the football, you're not only compromising your X-Men on the offense, you're compromising your X-Men on the defense. You feel what I'm saying? You know, typically, Nightcrawler, he played defense. Typically, you know, Storm, she plays defense, right? You don't want to compromise those people. You don't want to do that. Your defense did a hell of a job. Your defense did a hell of a job to bailing you out on more than one occasion. They were huge in the red zone. Don't put them in that position again. You were fortunate. You were fortunate. Don't put your team in that position again, Jay Hertz, because you're gonna make it hard for me to defend you. And I'm always ready to throw bowls for you. You feel what I'm saying? I'm always ready to knuckle up for you, bro. But I can't. If you're doing that, if you're putting the Eagles in those kind of situations, throwing those type of interceptions, I can't condone it. I can't protect that. You feel what I'm saying? I just can't. So his decisions have to be A1. I think they have so much to look at on film. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a much cleaner game. If nothing's there, throw it away. Don't hurt your team and force a play. This Eagles team is going to be explosive regardless. They're going to put up points quick regardless. You saw in the second half, the third quarter, 2 plays, a 66-yard touchdown or a 65, 64-yard touchdown. 2 plays. A.J. Brown to the house. This offense is going to be explosive. You're going to put up numbers on any and everybody. Trust that. Trust that. And don't think you got to get it all back in one play because you sure can lose it all in one play. It's easier to lose a game in one play than to win it in one play. You feel what I'm saying? No game is won in one play, but a game can be lost in one play. It can be. So, you know, the Eagles, they're going to be back home, back at Lincoln Financial Field. You know, I think we're going to see a significantly cleaner game from Jalen Hurts. You know, I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that the lack of preseason action really showed itself in that game, especially for the offense in the first quarter. Those first couple of drives, offense was shaky, but Jalen Hurts was shaky. Let's put it that way. But I think the cobwebs are gone. And, you know, despite the 2 interceptions, he did go 20 for 34, 278 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. You know, we still haven't seen what this offense can really do yet. So there's no need for Jalen Hurts to be reckless. There's no need for him to be reckless. Let me get to your comments. Let's see. My man, the real RMP or the real Pistol P, excuse me. He says, sounds like you want him to be a game manager. Not even necessarily a game manager. I want Jalen Hurts to be him, but you don't got to overthink it. Matter of fact, here's the thing, right? I'm tired of, and again, this Pistol P, this is not about you. I'm tired of people putting it out there like being a game manager is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Game managers win Super Bowls. Like Tom Brady is the ultimate game manager. He's the greatest game manager we've ever seen. You feel me? And honestly, when you're playing a football game, when you really watch it, for the most part, every play is not an explosive play. Most of the time, you're managing the game, and then you pick your spots to blow. You pick your spots to, gash them down the middle. You got to be surgical. You got to be you got to have timing, right? Execution. You can't always bring the biggest gun to war. You feel what I'm saying? I got another analogy for y'all. Y'all all play Call of Duty. I'm sure y'all all seen, military movies, things of that nature, right? And thank you again, Pistol P. You really jogged my my thought for this. I really do appreciate you, brother. It's not that I want Jalen Hurts to be a game manager, right? I want him to know. I want him to pick his spots and know when it's time to be. There's a time to put the cape on. Superman is not Superman all the time. He's Clark Kent when he's chilling. Most of the time, you want your quarterback to be Clark. Most of the time, you want your quarterback to be Clark Kent until it's time to be Superman. And I think Jalen Hurts has that in him. But you don't got to be Superman all the time, right? So again, back to the whole Call of Duty, military movie thing, right? When you go into war or when you in battle, when you playing Call of Duty, whatever it may be, right? Do you use a sniper in every situation? Do you use a bazooka or an RPG in every situation? Do you use your knife in every situation? Your sidearm in every situation? Your primary in every situation? No, you choose your loadout for that particular situation. You choose your weapons of choice for a particular situation, right? So you don't want to always use the bazooka in battle. You might need the sniper today. You may need the Glock today. You may need the AR today. And Jalen has a lot of weapons at his disposal. He has weapons. He has plenty of weapons. But you got to pick your spots and not abuse them. Because when you abuse them, it leads to turnovers. Pick your spot. That's all. Pick your spots. It's the same thing Josh Allen is learning. It's the same thing Patrick Mahomes had to learn after he lost Tyreek Hill. When Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill, he had to change his perspective on the game. He had to change his perspective on how he plays offense. That Chiefs offense when Tyreek Hill was there and they had Kareem Hunt, explosive. But then when he lost Tyreek Hill and his receiving core wasn't really up to par and he just had Travis Kelce, he had to be a little bit more surgical. He couldn't always go for the home run. He had to settle for a single. Maybe he had to settle for a bunt there. Maybe a double. Maybe a triple. And then eventually, home run. And then you never know, grand slam. So picking your spots, knowing what's needed from you in a given situation, knowing how much time is on the clock, what down and distance is, what the scorecard is, right? You were up 31 to 25 or 26, was it? I think it was 26. You were up 31 to 26. And you threw an interception in the red zone, throwing across your body. That is unacceptable. You didn't need to do that. I rewatched the game this morning, by the way. And I saw that drive, and I'm like, what was you were moving the ball very well, as a matter of fact. You were moving the ball, and all of a sudden you got cute. For some odd reason. You're moving the ball. Saquon Barkley just got first down, if I'm not mistaken. And you got cute. Let me double check that. I want to make sure I got that that play-by-play correct. Because I just want to make sure I'm as accurate as possible about what I'm describing here. You guys are tuned in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Make sure you guys smash that like button on the way in, and make sure you smash that like button on the way out. Okay, so you started the ball at your own 33-yard line. You're moving the ball. You're moving. Saquon Barkley rushed for 34 yards. You threw an 11-yard pass to Grand Cacatera. You threw an 11-yard pass to A.J. Brown. And then this is where things went haywire, right? As soon as they got in the red zone, Jalen Hurts tucks it and tries to run. He should have gave it to Saquon right there. He decides to tuck in and run and keep it, 3-yard loss. And then Jalen Hurts tried to make a pass to Jahan Dotson, almost turned into a pick six. And then on the following play, 3rd and 13, you throw a ball in the end zone, intercepted by Jair Alexander. Not a smart decision. Overthinking it. Getting cute. For what? You're up. You're up in the game. The score is 31-26. You're in control. You're in the red zone. No need to overthink anything. Play the game at your own pace. But they got cute in that red zone for some odd reason. I'm giving the ball to Saquon Barkley. He's hot. Just give it to him. Make your life easy. Saquon was right there. You think Saquon wasn't getting that touchdown? Being at the Green Bay 11-yard line? He was getting that. So, again, better decision-making needs to be had. And some of those decisions we saw he should not be making them. At this point in his career, should not be making those decisions. That's a fact. And y'all know me, I ride for Hertz, but I'm going to tell her how it is. I'm very, very fair. Very honest as well. My man Shep with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, my man. He says, go Birds. I really do appreciate Shep, man. Shep always comes in. He blesses the live chat. And he always says, go Birds, man. Nothing more, nothing less. Just keeps that energy flowing. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's see where we are. Once again, thank you, Shep. I really do appreciate you, brother. BB says, new system and no preseason. Jalen needs to learn. He's got a great running back. At that point in the game, Saquon already had 3 touchdowns. You don't know that man great by now? You feel what I'm saying? At that point in the game, Jalen Hurts already Saquon got 3 touchdowns. You don't realize how good he is yet? You don't realize how good he is yet. B. Mills says, we need to stop the slander, bro. He won us the game, by the way. Of course he won the game. Yes, they won the game. But what we're doing here, B. Mills, is what those coaches are doing right now. What we're doing right here, they're probably saying something 10 times worse. Jalen, you can't do that. You're better than that. That's Bush League. That's JV football decisions you made. You don't throw across your body. You don't throw on triple coverage. So this isn't slander. This is acknowledging the mistakes of the player and how he needs to be better going forward. That's all. And besides, we're family here. We're all fans of the Philadelphia. Well, some of us are fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, but we're all supporters of this player. We're all supporters of this team. We got to call it how we see it sometimes. That's all. He had a strong second and third quarter. His fourth quarter, he had a strong final drive in the fourth quarter. You feel what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts had a okay game. I can't say he had a good game. I won't say he had a bad game either. You know, a lot of people want to say that. A lot of people want to say Jalen Hurts had an awful game. He didn't. If he had an awful game, the Eagles would have lost. But they didn't lose. Jalen Hurts overcame the early turnovers and threw 2 passing touchdowns, threw for over 270 yards. I need that completion percentage to be up a little bit. I think his completion percentage was, let me double check this, because he went 20 for 34, right? He went 20 for 34. 20 divided by 34 is what? 20 divided by 34. That's 50. That's 59%. So he completed 59% of his passes, while Jordan Love only completed 50% of his passes. So Jalen Hurts, I need that completion percentage to be up, right? I need Jordan Hurts. I need Jalen Hurts to be around, 67. That's what I think he should be around completing 67% of his passes. That's what I would like. Damon says, so if AJ didn't slip, would you still call that second pick a bad decision? But I mean, if he catches it, then we're not even talking about it, right? If he catches it, we're not talking about it. And I even said, I don't know if you caught this, Damon, but I even said, I watched that film. I rewatched the game this morning. Literally, I saw what Jalen Hurts saw. I understand what he was thinking. But the problem is you threw the ball way too late and you telegraphed where you were going with it. Because there was a big-ass space for him. I get it. It was a big-ass space. But you threw the ball late. A.J. Brown slipped. You just put the ball in harm's way. It was in harm's way. It was a risky and then not only did you wait too long, you rolled right and you threw across your body, making the throw more difficult than it had to be. Because I saw it. He left the pocket early. He threw the ball way too late, and then he threw it across his body. He made mistakes, and it's okay. I'm not going to hold it against him. I think he's going to have a way cleaner Atlanta game. I firmly believe that. I'm still on the train that Jalen Hurts is going to, where is it? I'm still on the train that Jalen Hurts is only going to throw 7 interceptions. This was my stat prediction for Jalen Hurts for the season. 67% completion percentage, 4,000 passing yards, around 30 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 550 rushing yards, 7 rush TDs, 3 fumbles. 3 fumbles lost. Let me make sure I correct that. Fix that. And 3 fumbles lost. So he's on pace for 34 passing touchdowns. As of right now, he threw 2 interceptions in week 1. So technically, he's on pace for 34 interceptions. Technically. If we're just doing math. He's on pace for 34 interceptions. But again, it's one game, right? So I'm not even really trying to have that conversation. But all I'm trying to say is he made mistakes. He made mistakes, and we got to talk about it. That's all it is. We got to talk about it. I'm trying to be honest here. As much love as I give Jalen Hurts, I could be honest about that man. I give that man a ton of love. I take a lot of bullets defending that man. I take a lot of bullets. B Mill says, I hear you, bro. I'm just tired of everybody harping on that pick. Hashtag go birds. I feel you, bro. I feel you on that. And I really don't mean to harp on it. I'm just trying to use that as a springboard to explain that I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a really good game against the Falcons. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a much stronger game, way clearer game. I think how that game went. I think how things went with the Packers really kind of like that's the kind of game that wakes you up a little bit. Like, okay, all right, I ain't got to do that kind of stuff. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be way better. I really, really do. All right. Let me get to my final topic here. And I really do appreciate you guys being here. Let me get to my final topic here. But before I do so, let me read some of your comments. And thank you guys all for donating to the channel. I appreciate Shizzo for his super chat. I appreciate Davon Tyree for his super chat. I'm grateful to my man Infamous 2K with his two super chats. And thank you, Shep, for donating to the channel as well. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. All right. Luther Winfield says Jalen played decent. Line played okay. Defense was up and down. We scored 34 points and could have easily been over 40. ATL's in trouble. Yeah, man. Pretty much laid it out right there, right? Jalen was mid. He played decent. He was decent. Overcame the bad mistakes, right? Offensive line was pretty good. Offensive line played like a top 5 offensive line. I think the offensive line rankings or numbers are out, but I think if the Eagles played like a top 5 offensive line. Defense was up and down, but you know the defense was very strong in the red zone. Very strong in the red zone. Their timing was really good. They got off the field on crucial drives. They held up in the red zone. Run defense was spotty, right? Run defense was very spotty. They had stretches where run defense was good. Then they had stretches where run defense was lacking. I wonder what that's about. So, yeah, I think you pretty much laid it out, Luther. Let's see. Demond says, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, Demond says, no, I didn't catch it. I just hopped on. As B. Mills said, everybody's on the same BS, like the team looked like the end of 23 instead of the team who was rusty from not playing the preseason. You know what's funny, right? I'm glad you said that, Demond. I actually don't think this team, the way the game went, it doesn't remind me of last year at all. Because of the simple fact that the way the offense looked when they were on, right? Like once they got past the early struggles or the early mistakes, that offense was a well-oiled machine. They were moving the ball well. Guys were open. I didn't feel like A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith or anybody really had to struggle to get open. You feel what I'm saying? Like it didn't seem like it was a struggle putting play calls together. The run game was working. Saquon was doing his thing. AJ was getting open. Devontae was getting open. Dallas had moments where he got open. Even Grant Calcaterra had a catch. You know what I'm saying? Kenny G had some moments, right? I don't compare this to last season at all. I don't care. I don't care if the turnovers happened or not. They just looked different. The defense played different. The offense played different. There was a different urgency on the defensive side of the ball. Even when they did have their mistakes, they were flying around. There were bright spots. You feel what I'm saying? I felt like the DBs played decent. I felt like the linebackers played decent. D-line has to be better, obviously. Then on offense, again, the play calling was solid. The play calling was really good. You saw what they were able to create with the motions and how much space you saw Devontae Smith in and how much space AJ Brown would have at moments. I mean, nah, this wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. So Demond, I feel you. It wasn't the same at all. Okay, let's see here. My man Infamous with the 1999 super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Oh my God. You know what, Infamous? You paid for it. You paid for it, so I'm not mad at you, brother. You paid for it, so I ain't mad. Infamous 2K says, and again, this is the 1999 super chat. He says, hail to the Redskins. Hail victory Braves on the warpath. Fight for old DC. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, that is funny. That is funny as hell. Infamous, you lucky I got love for you, man. You lucky I got love for you. Oh, man. Infamous says, once again, and again, he paid for this. 1999, I'll read it again. Hail to the Redskins. Hail victory. Braves on the warpath. Fight for old DC. Ah. Infamous, you so lucky I love you, man. You so lucky I got love for you, bro. Shout out to my man B Mills with the $4.99 super chat. He says St. Louis Bird Gang. Oh, shout out to B Mills. You holding down in St. Louis? Is that what that is? Or is that still Bird Gang? Are you from St. Louis, B Mills? Or is that just still Bird Gang? Okay, St. Louis. Hey, shout out to St. Louis, man. Shout out to my man B Mills holding it down in St. Louis. I like that. That's dope. That's dope. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat, brother. I really do appreciate you. Now, Infamous, leave me the hell alone, bro. So, all right. Final topic of the day, you guys. Final topic. Let's have a strong close. We got over 120 people in here. Make sure you guys smash that like button, please. Make sure you smash that like button. Smash that like button. Infamous 2K once again with the $4.99 super chat. He says, "Yes, sir. You have been baptized. You are now a Commanders fan. Raise that left hand up high and proud." I would fucking never. I would never. Infamous, you got a lot of nerve. All right. Let's get to. Hold on, my man J Infamous. Thank you again for the super chat, bro. Thank you. My man J Love 47. He says, "Tone, question: Are you convinced Hertz is the guy, or is he still on probation for you?" I think Hertz is the guy. I think he's the guy. I mean, they paid him, so he has to be, right? They paid him, so he has to be. But no, J Love, I feel you, man. J Love says, "I'm not all in on Hertz yet." I ain't mad at that. Me personally, I am all in, but I'm not mad at people who say they need to see more still. I'm not mad at people that say that, but I'm all in. It's just that some people get disrespectful when they talk about it. Like I don't mind if somebody's saying I like Hertz, so I just need to see more. I don't mind people saying that, right? But when people get disrespectful, that's when I get real defensive about Jalen Hurts. Because you can have your opinion and keep it respectful. Some people just jump up deep in. He can't read and he can't do this, he can't do that. No, I'm like, bro, no. I'm all in on Hertz, though, by the way. Just to make it very clear. I'm all in on Hertz, as you can see. Baby. All in. All in, baby. All in. And like Forrest Hill said, he got the money. So he got the money. I got to be all in, baby. He got the money already. All right, let me see where I'm at here. Let me get to my final topic, y'all. Y'all funny, man. I'm trying to get to the topic, but y'all got me cracking up here. So the Eagles defense, right? The Eagles defense. We all know the defense, they had their real first test in week 1. But I expect them to be way better at Lincoln Financial Field. We understand that the grass in Brazil, it didn't give the players a ton of traction. I know a lot of people don't like to complain about that kind of stuff. But I think the grass really played a factor in both teams not really being able to really tee off on defense. The grass in Brazil, it didn't give players a ton of traction. It was hard to plant your feet and make a play. You saw it on offense, you saw it on defense, you saw it on both sides of the ball. This had a big impact on both the Eagles and the Packers players. There was a moment where I think you saw Romeo Doubs, or was it Dontavion Wicks? You saw them slip they were wide open and they slipped, and Jordan Love missed the throw because he slipped. So, I'll say this, because, I say this because it became difficult to tell if the Eagles pass rush was that bad or if they just couldn't get their footing. So I want to try to reserve judgment from this defense in terms of just, allowing the explosive plays. And, there were moments where they did miss a couple tackles, right? But I don't want to completely, especially the pass rush. I don't want to fully indict this pass rush because I was watching the game again this morning and they really couldn't turn the corner. They couldn't plant their feet. You saw Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff. You saw those guys slipping and sliding. Guys really couldn't get around the corner. Guys couldn't get that push because they were literally sliding in the grass. So, and I know Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat and Nolan Smith didn't have the best game. I totally understand that. Totally understand it. But I just have this, I feel like they would be much better, way better, playing on Lincoln Financial Field grass. And they're going to be settled in their home for 10 days. That should help them get back into routine as well. But guys like Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, you got to get something from those guys. You got to. Zach Bond led the team in sacks. Led the team in sacks on Friday. He was the only one that got sacks. J Love says, yo, this is like the third year in a row we played Kirk Cousins on Monday night at home. I know he hates us, bro. I know he hates us. He definitely hates us. And you know he used to be in the NFC East, so he played the Eagles a lot in his career. Fanny says they should have brought different cleats or alternative cleats. They did. They had all different types of cleats. You saw them changing the cleats on the sideline and all that. It was what it was. It was what it was. But I think the Eagles, they should be able to get something off on Kirk Cousins. Seriously, Kirk Cousins is a statue. Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat and Nolan Smith, there's no reason any of them should leave that game without a sack. No reason. One of those guys got to get. Listen, between Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, and Nolan Smith, I need 2 sacks. Between those 3 guys. I'm being generous now. I'm being generous. I'm being more than fair. Between Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, and Nolan Smith on Monday night, I need 2 sacks. And that's a low bar. You're going to be home. You ain't got to worry about the grass or the conditions. Lincoln Financial Field, the fans is bringing that energy, bringing that vibe. Road game for the Atlanta Falcons after they blew a home game. Take advantage. Between those 3 players, Bryce Huff, Nolan Smith, and Josh Sweat, I need 2 sacks between all 3 of those guys combined. That's more than fair. Alex O says, so Bryce Huff has to fight for playing time now after what Fangio said. Listen, I'm not mad at Vic Fangio's approach. The bottom line is Bryce Huff was a non-factor. Josh Sweat was a non-factor. Nolan Smith, even though I felt like he had a little bit of a better game than both of those guys, Nolan Smith was a non-factor. Listen, like Fangio said, BG, there's no snap count. This isn't some homecoming for you. Put your damn cleats on, put your shoulder pads on, put your foot in the dirt and get it popping. The hot hand, the best pass rushers on the field, period. You paying Bryce Huff a lot of money. He better be one of those best pass rushers. You paying him a lot of money. A lot of money. Bryce Huff better get it together. Seriously. It's only week 1. So I want to reserve judgment. But he come on now. J Love says, Tone, be mindful, however, that this is the best version of the Falcons we're getting because they're not trying to lose to 2 PA teams back to back, LOL, and go down 0-2. Hey, listen, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I expect the Atlanta Falcons to make a ton of adjustments going into this game. They're gonna have extra time to prepare. Best believe they're going to overcorrect whatever issues they had in week 1. Damn near flush it because they're going to overcorrect. But based off what I saw from Kirk Cousins and how he moved in that game, he did not look good to me. physically. He didn't have that same pop as I've normally seen Kirk Cousins have on them throws. He really didn't. So, yeah, the Eagles defense, they did some nice things in that Packers game, right? The red zone defense was really, really good. They forced a turnover. Linebacker play was solid. Quinyon Mitchell had a strong start to his career. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody was playing fast to the ball. Everybody was always around the ball. I felt like everybody's instincts were on high alert. And everybody was playing downhill. It just seemed like the Eagles were playing very fast on defense, which I like. And again, there were some missed tackles here and there, but I don't feel that it was egregious. Overall, the Philadelphia Eagles have some things to hang their hat on from week one defensively. You take that and you carry that over to Monday night. You build on that, and you're playing on more stable ground, and you're a week more comfortable in the offense. Vic Fangio has some film to look at, right? I love what Vic Fangio had to say, by the way. I love what Vic Fangio said, by the way. He said, this was talking about the Nakobe Dean, Devin White situation. Excuse me. Flat out, they asked him about Devin White and what's his involvement. He said Nakobe Dean is the starter. Nakobe Dean is the starter, and I'm not mad at it. I want the best players on the field, period. Period. Now, God forbid something happened to Nakobe Dean. All right, you could do a lot worse than Devin White. But as of right now, Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond, those are my linebackers. And I love how transparent, I love how blunt Vic Fangio is. Short and to the point. We're not wasting no time. Nakobe Dean, that's my starter. Nakobe Dean did some really good things in that game. I really wish he would have caught that pick six. Oh, my God, Nakobe, you got to catch the pick six when it lands on your lap, big dog. That pick six would have changed our whole perspective on Nakobe Dean, would it not? So, yo, Pistol P, the real Pistol P says, hey, yo, Devin White must have removed himself from that accountability group chat, huh? Yo, Pistol P, hey, yo. Yo. You're not right, dog. You're not right. You're not right, Pistol. You're not right. Naeem Miller says you can't overcorrect a bum Achilles injury. That ball can't move. Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think schematically and play calling wise, I expect the Falcons to overcorrect. But when I go back to Kirk Cousins' film and how he moved in that game and just his footwork and then the confidence in his body and driving the ball, he didn't have it. He looked like a shell of himself. And he's already over 30. How old is Kirk Cousins? Like 34? 35? Kirk Cousins is 36, coming off of an Achilles injury. 36. Kobe barely came back off an Achilles injury. Kirk Cousins, y'all probably thought he was younger. Kirk Cousins is 36 years old. And they gave that man 4 years, $180 million. $180 million. If you was going to draft Michael Penix in the first round, why the hell would you pay Kirk Cousins? So, and guess what? Guess what, y'all? Guess what? I'm about to blow your mind here. Guess what? So, Kirk Cousins is 36 years old. They gave him a 4-year contract. So let's just say he plays out the whole contract, right? Let's just say Kirk Cousins plays out. Let's just say Kirk Cousins plays out 3 years of the contract. Just 3 years, because it's a 4-year deal. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he only makes it to year 3. You drafted Michael Penix in the first round. You mean to tell me Michael Penix is 24 years old and he's not going to see the grass until he's 27 or 28? You drafted Michael Penix, the oldest, damn near the oldest quarterback in his draft class. Him and Bo Nix, old as hell. And You draft him after you sign Kirk Cousins to a 4-year deal. And let's just say he only plays 3 years. Let's just say Kirk Cousins retire at 39. You mean to tell me Michael Penix ain't going to touch the grass until he's 27, 28? Are they crazy? And Michael Penix has an injury history. They tripping. They are tripping. Michael Penix is 24. Jordan Love is 25. Jalen Hurts is how old? 26. Jalen Hurts is 26. Think about that. Think about that. Jalen Hurts is 26. Jordan Love is 25. Jordan Love became the full-time starter. Jordan Love became the full-time starter in year 3. In year 3. At age 25. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. Jordan Love's birthday is November 2nd. So he was the full-time starter when he was 24. He became the full-time starter in Green Bay at 24. Michael Penix won't be the full-time starter until he's 27, 28. That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy. But anyway, I think his defense is going to be way better. I think the Eagles are in good shape going forward. I think they have some things to hang their hat on. I think there were definitely some good things to take away from that Packers game that you can carry over to that Falcons game. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have the edge. I can't wait to talk about this more in depth tonight. Make sure you guys lock in at 7 p.m. Eastern time. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tonight, there is a live stream with my compadres, my friends, Simone Stanley, Lord Brunson. Tonight, we are live at 7 p.m. Eastern for the link up. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Simone Stanley, Lord Brunson, and myself, we're linking up tonight to discuss our takeaways from Eagles versus Packers. We're here to give you guys a preview of Eagles versus Falcons. We cannot wait to have this conversation, you guys. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you guys check us out at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central time, 5 p.m. Mountain time, and 4 p.m. Pacific time. And that may be 1 p.m. Hawaiian time and 12 p.m. Alaska time. Whatever it is, wherever you are, make sure you guys tune into the show, smash that like button, stay engaged. You don't want to miss this live stream tonight. And even if you do miss it, double back. Watch it after the fact. The show is available. Chalk It Up Sports is available on many, many platforms. Like I said to you guys, I wanted to make sure that Chalk It Up Sports was available to you guys in more ways than one. Let me show you guys this here. Chalk It Up Sports is available not only on YouTube, but it's also available on Apple Podcasts, right? You can check me out. You can check the show out on Apple Podcasts. Every episode that you guys get live will always be uploaded to Apple Podcasts and will also be uploaded to Spotify as well within the hour after the show ends, okay? So again, the show is available on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Make sure you follow. Make sure you give me a 5-star rating. I appreciate all of that. The shows are always uploaded. I want to say within the hour after the live stream ends, okay? I wanted to make sure I'm serving everybody. Sometimes you can't catch it live. Sometimes you're on the road. Maybe you're a trucker. Maybe you drive for Amazon. Maybe you drive limos. Maybe you drive the SEPTA bus, whatever it may be. I said SEPTA like I'm in Philly. Maybe you drive public transportation. Maybe you're a taxi driver. You do Uber. Maybe you work with your hands. You're a chef. Whatever it may be, right? You're blue collar. Whatever you do, maybe you work in the office. I wanted to make sure I'm serving everybody. Chalk It Up Sports is available on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Okay? And also, you guys, make sure you check out the Chalk It Up Sports merch shop. The Chalk It Up Sports merch store has gotten some updates. We have now added hoodies and sweatshirts to the fold. Okay? We added hoodies and sweatshirts. No, Naeem, it is on Apple Podcasts. You got to search it. It's on Apple Podcasts. The show is on Apple Podcasts. Just search Chalk It Up Sports or search Tone DeShields. It's definitely on Apple Podcasts, Naeem. Just make sure you search that. But yes, the Chalk It Up Sports merch shop got an upgrade. Now we have hoodies and we have sweatshirts. And they all come in different colorways. Now, I want to give you guys the heads up, okay, about the hoodies. Aesthetically, the logo looks a lot better on the back. So let me zoom out here to make sure you guys can see this just fine. Aesthetically, the logo looks a lot better on the back of the hoodie. And on the front of the hoodie, it says Chalk It Up Sports right there. Hope you guys can see that. This is the front of the hoodie. It says Chalk It Up Sports in white letters. Not too big, not too bold. Chalk It Up Sports right here. And then on the back of the hoodie, it has the Apex Predator graphic. With the Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagle artwork. Has Chalk It Up Sports going down the side right here by TD2. It gives you guys some fun facts or some stats about Eagles in general in the wild. Once again, it comes in multiple colorways. Comes in black. Comes in pine green. Also comes in asphalt heather. So the Apex Predator hoodies comes in 3 colors. It comes in black. It comes in green, pine green, and it comes in asphalt heather. All right. And then on top of that, we got sweatshirts as well. The sweatshirts, the graphic is on the front. Here, it comes in 3 colorways as well. It comes in black. It comes in military green. And it also comes in gray, sports gray, okay? So, yeah, man. I know a lot of you guys been asking about it. And I wanted to make sure I did right by you guys, okay? So just make sure you guys lock in. The link is located in the live chat. Also, the links are available all over my YouTube channel, all over my videos. Any content you see them on, you're going to see the promotion. You're going to see the links being available to you guys. And I appreciate the support. You guys have been really, really amazing. It really goes a long way with me. This show has been growing. The amount of support you guys have been giving has been growing, and I don't take that for granted. So I'm going to get out of here, you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. Make sure you stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. Thank you guys so much for donating to the channel. Thank you for giving super chats. Thank you for investing in the merchandise. It means a lot to me. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on a very special dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.